their restaurant area, which is quite a surprise, should we say. Not usually the sort of thing you find in garage or gas station restaurant. They're usually a sort of a burger or a, like in the UK, it used to be Little Chef or sort of a generic restaurant that serves a reasonable selection of food. What else? I think we've got one down towards Detroit has a buffet, I think. Some have sandwich outlets, so Subway, Jimmy John's, that sort of thing. Some do pizza, but it's usually sort of quick, easy food you can pick up and jump in the car and eat. Although you probably shouldn't do that because eating and driving can be an issue. But Indian food, not the sort of thing you can take away and eat in a car as you're on your journey. Also, Indian restaurants tend to be in towns rather than out in the countryside. So this was quite a surprise. So we had a look at it, grabbed a menu, and they only have a limited menu when it comes to sort of the food they serve. They do vegetable dishes, they do chicken dishes. That's it. There's no fish dishes, there's no lamb or goat or anything like that. It's chicken or vegetable. Now, I'm not knocking it. Indians make very good vegetable dishes. So I don't mind going vegetarian when I'm at an Indian restaurant. In fact, a company I used to work for, they had a lot of consultants who were Indian. And so whenever we had a potluck, there was a ton of Indian food, most of it vegetarian, because most of them are. And most awesome potlucks I've been to ever. So yeah, since it's my birthday this week, we're going down to that restaurant to have probably a late afternoon supper. Because obviously I don't need to travel. Well, we're streaming now. What is the time? It is coming up on 10 o'clock. So once the stream's done, we'll then move. I've then got. We'll probably have lunch, sort of light lunch, and what have you. Then my mum's calling me this afternoon because we haven't spoken in a long time. And then, probably closer to 3 o'clock, we can start thinking about going out to eat. But even then, it's a little bit early. So, probably late in the afternoon, we'll go investigate new food. Yeehaw. What else is going on? So yeah, that makes most of today quite busy. Mrs. Osa needs to make some cookie dough and stick it in the fridge overnight because it needs to be cooled for a day. That's all fine. And then on Sunday, between morning church and evening church, she needs to bake the cookies because her friends are coming round on Monday to decorate lots of cookies, and her friends are all baking cookies as well over the next 2 days. So we will have hundreds of cookies to to dress while I'm working, so, and eating cookies. So yes, that's all the plans running up to Christmas. We have the boys here today. He's decided he wants to stay for 4 days, which means he goes home on Tuesday, and then we're Christmas Eve, which is a non-working day for me, so I will be streaming on that day, and then Christmas Day I will be streaming, which will put us on Thursday, and then Friday is what is Friday? Friday is I'm back to work, so no streaming then. Obviously the normal stream on Saturday, and then we're into the New Year week, so quite a hectic couple of weeks coming up. So what else has been happening? I also went to see the doctor this week, and she's given me some painkillers that make me drowsy, or one of the side effects is I could find myself getting overly drowsy. So she said, we'll start off taking 1 per day at night time. So if it does make you drowsy, it doesn't matter because it's night time and you should be sleeping. So once again, worker is driven up a tree. So then what happens next? After that, so I've started taking the painkillers, and I will be, I can step up to 2 per day, which will be 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. And if I still need to, I can take 3 per day, but we have to watch the drowsiness aspect if I'm taking 1 in the morning. And then probably not operating heavy machinery for the next week to see how I get on. Okay, that's doing. Let's go find idiot up a tree. Where are you? Well, and they're always reversing into the trees. And this field is hardly done. This is complete garbage. Will at least get us onto the field and then set the worker off again. You do that. You are 36% of the way across this field, I guess. You are done, so if I push, turn on the engine, push the shift button and the fold button, folds the front and the back. Yeehaw. And I'm just going to take this back to the yard. We'll leave it there. The yield on the grass looks a little poor. That was a yellow yield. I'm not sure how that compares normally. This is the thing. Unless I'm in a vehicle doing the harvest myself, I can't tell if this year's harvest is better than last year's. Also, with the arable crops, I'm planting different crops in each field, so also difficult to tell whether this year's harvest is good as last year's. Okay, I don't know what I want to do you for. I do want to repair you though, so put that in. Looks, no, the engine is on, so turn that on. Off we go again. I will engage the GPS before I get to the end of that, so that it doesn't spring up as a place I've not yet been. Now, just going to go up this field, or up this row. This will give me an idea of how much of how full we'll get, because we're only 4% at the moment. Now that field over there is quite a bit smaller than this one, so what I might end up doing is, once I've personally finished this one, I may put a worker on the other soybean field, and we'll go deal with that little tractor doing topping. I may call a halt to the topping thing, because it's not something I need to do right now. And it's going to take a couple of days. I want to look for jobs I can do with a worker. So once this field's cleared, we're going to have to come out here and bale this. I'm also going to have to bale that grass field over there. So, and I need the small tractor for that, which is why I might not do any more field topping with the little tractor right now. Once the bales are made, straw bales we can just ship off this field and drop in the shed. The silage bales I'm just going to leave out until they're fermented, which should be October 4. And then after that, we need to pick them up, obviously. But I can come out to this field and I can start mulching this field with a worker and topping manually. So we'll see how all the things work out. This is going to take, as I said, a fair bit of time. Now, actually doing this job with this size of field, doing this job with courseplay, the harvester will stop, back up, and create a little lay-by to park in, so you can drive the tractor up to unload the harvester. You're now up to 50% filled. So potentially, I might be able to get back again. I should be able to get back again. And the reason I say that is because 1, 2, 3. I want to go down this row. And this row is shorter than the row we just did. And we started the other row at 4% filled. So we should get to the end of this row at about 97%, I hope. And if that works out to be true, I think the other end of the field also is it's sloping towards where we are. So this row should be a lot shorter. We'll see. Where is the topper? The topper is that tractor, which is doing 0 miles an hour. 6R is full of soybeans, 94%. Oh, that's just the... I didn't turn off the grain cart. Oh well. Still. And I might start pulling away from doing sugar beets at some point. I kind of want to turn into a probably from here forwards, if we've sold enough sorghum in January that we get the achievement, I may drop doing sorghum and just be a predominantly soybean, corn or maize, corn because we're in America, maize in Europe, but yeah, corn and soybean farm, and start building towards getting ourselves a cotton harvester, and potentially those small fields that surround our farm, I might do them as soybeans. Long hauler, hey, welcome to Saturday stream. 90%. I'm hoping we make it to the end. Because it's a long way back. Could probably park at an angle if I'm careful. 13,000. This is okay. We'll do the course play thing. Okay. Spread that out. You engine off? Yes, you are. You're still doing your contract. You're parked on a tree. I'm done. I am so done with this doing this. Helper off, engine off, just done. And you, I need to empty. No, I'm good. Maybe because I'm just older. Is it? I am now an elder, according to the young boy. Yes, why not? No, it's. I don't think I have any issues, but you never know. I'm just annoyed with the sugar beet topper that is just misbehaving royally. Where's this one? This one's here. Indeed. Okay. So get that unloaded. You can turn the truck off. And I noticed that Millennial Farmer this week did not consider where he was parking the truck before he unloaded everything into the back of the trailer and then got stuck in the field. But, I have figured out that with this truck and trailer setup, the best thing to do is I still have to drive all the way down the other end of the field. Good grief. You need to be able to drive straight out, and you turn around. So you turn around, you go into the field, you turn around while you're empty, and then you load up, and then it's just a straight drive out. Oh, well, happy birthday to you too. So, yes, Christmas kids. Only ever get one present. Although with my family, that used to be you get one huge present. Which was kind of cool. But then my sister's birthday was also tomorrow. So we just had, it usually ended up, you can open one of your presents or 2 of your presents on your birthday, and all the rest of them at Christmas. So, okay, fine. But yeah, we used to end up with some huge presents sometimes. Oh, you're just a youngling. This is going to be tricky. But yeah, it's my sister's. Yeah, my sister died in June of this year, so we won't have so much of a celebration tomorrow. I say we. Since my sister lived in England, there wasn't much celebrating here in America anyway. Hopefully, I can get the harvester around there. Sorts of troubles. It was kind of... That was kind of weird, actually. She'd had a bout of cancer a couple of years ago, and that had cleared up. But then, I mean, it was literally, oh, something seems to be a problem, so we need to check you out. And she had an appointment to go see the doctors. And I think she'd arranged to have a meeting with her church pastor. I think on the Wednesday for leader of the praise group or music group or whatever they called it. And Tuesday she was taken into hospital. She was in a rough state. And so had to cancel her interview with the pastor. And then by the following Monday, it was, she's not long for this world. Wednesday she was fine, or Tuesday she was fine. Wednesday she was in hospital. The following Monday, it's like, yeah, she's got maybe a month if she's lucky. And you could see it. There are certain signs where people, you know somebody is on their way out because just their body's just going to sleep. Everything is shutting down. And that's where she was. Her pastor was on vacation in the Mediterranean. He came home, or I think it was on the Thursday, and they talked. And on the Friday, she was dead. It was like 1 week. So she was fine and healthy and walking around 1 week, and literally 1.5 weeks, and she'd gone. So nobody was really expecting anything. Her son had to go back to England. He was living in Canada, so I think he still has stuff to do in Canada to sell up stuff there. But he's got dropped in it of, hey, you've got to organise all of her affairs. And that's taken him some time, because obviously June, he's still there. I think November he was kind of getting to the end of the whole procedure of what happens when people leave us. And I think the entire family learned my sister was a poet. They read some of her poetry at the memorial service, but nobody knew she was actually a poet, and she wrote poems. Yeah. I mean, the problem was I hadn't really spoken to her in like 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. Just because it was awkward to contact. I used to call my parents sort of Christmas Day or Boxing Day. The problem is I used to use Skype because I paid a flat fee for international phone calling, so I could use Skype to dial up the UK. And primarily I got that so I could deal with the banks that still had my money. But the banks got really horrible. And it's sort of, oh, if you want to keep money in here and you don't live in England, then you're going to have to pay us a big fee every year. And it's like, why would I want to do that? So I just closed up all the bank accounts I had over there, transferred all the money. So I had to have international dialing to speak to the banks to get that done. But I now have no financial accounts in the UK except some pensions, which I now have an international recovery firm recovering all of the pension money. What they do is they're one of these companies that if you're American and you lived in the UK because you were assigned there as military, or you went to work for a UK company, you either set up your own private pension or your employer set up a pension in the UK for you. If you've now returned to the US, there's so much tax crud that you have to deal with. So this company just specialises in UK pensions for American citizens and recovering the money and contacting the pension companies and just getting the money pulled over here in the most tax efficient way, so you're not paying taxes you shouldn't have to pay. So I've just given them the go ahead to get my money, and come the new year, actually they said it would take about 6 to 9 months, so round about summertime next year I should be able to transfer a ton of money over from England. And I have to get that tractor out of the way.